I think if you're taking it in June, which is just 2 weeks from now, this is not really the time to try anything radically new. If you've been reading the logical reasoning, for example, question stem first, don't suddenly switch to the stimulus, and vice versa. If you suddenly want to do if you were doing previously 4 passages or 4 games, might not be the time to suddenly start trying out only doing 3 to see how that works out for you. I think it's really important to be fairly consistent in the final weeks. If you've got a month or more, then you could play around a little bit more, but final 2 weeks or so, I wouldn't really do a whole lot differently. I think that you want to mainly focus, if you're 2 weeks out, just timed exams and review, maybe brushing up on weak areas here or there. Ultimately, a lot of this is going to be personal. Not everyone's in the same place in the final weeks, and also you have your own unique personality and mentality. Different things work for different people. But I think overall, timed exams are a good way to go, especially if you haven't done enough of them. I think that most people should do at least 10 full-length timed exams before test day. If you have 2 weeks and you haven't done any, don't try to do all 10 in those 2 weeks. That's far too much. I really recommend at most doing, on average, 2 timed exams per week max. If you're working full-time or you're in school, then 1 per week could be enough. Detailed review is really the most important thing to be doing with that material. And the purpose of the exam is not simply to measure your results, it's to build your endurance and also to ID weak areas. Your wrong answers, anything you have difficulty with, that's golden material for you to learn from and improve upon. Because you don't want to just do exam after exam and kind of keep studying everything. You want to target weak areas and learn from them. And then maybe you find the problems that give you trouble, you can then know, okay, I want to review questions of this type or questions involving this concept, or maybe I thought I was good on games, but there's a certain game type that I don't know, that I'm not proficient enough in, and then you have a few weeks to focus on that. But you definitely don't want to run the risk of burnout in the final weeks. A lot of future lawyers are type A, gung-ho people who end up pushing themselves too hard and doing too much, and that leads to burnout, which will be counterproductive, and your scores can suffer, and just because you're fatigued, you're exhausted. If you think of training for a marathon, if you ever looked at a plan like that, you're actually not doing a whole lot of 20-plus mile runs in the final month. You might actually only ever do a couple of long runs of 20-plus miles before actually running the marathon. And in the final week, you're doing short runs, if anything. You already have the ability, you have the muscles, you have the training. You want to walk in refreshed and feeling good, which is why the day before, you really shouldn't do anything at all. If you want to do a tiny bit of review or reading an article or watching a video, that's okay, but I wouldn't do more than that the day before. And even 2 days before, you could do your final timed exam, but also the question then is, why are you doing that full-length timed exam 2 days before? What is your purpose? Is it to measure where you stand? Is it to get another great score under your belt and feel good about it? Is it because you feel like you'll lose everything if you don't do yet one more? Think about your reasons. If you've already gotten, let's say, a 170 and your goal is a 170, you don't need to take one more exam just to prove you can do it. If you've already gotten the score, you've proved that you're capable of doing it. And of course, maybe you won't do that every single time, but that's okay. That's why law schools only take the highest of your scores, not the average of them. They care about how you perform at your best. And so if you got a 170 previously, you get a 167 on test day, that's okay. That's still a great score, and you could always retake if you need to. Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them, and feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I wish you all the best and take care.